Today, we are talking about one of the most important decisions when you are planning a destination wedding: how to pick the perfect destination wedding resort for you. And it does exist. Does the perfect resort exist? Maybe not, but the perfect resort for you absolutely does. If we don't know each other yet, my name is Becky from the blog travelagentbecky.com, and I specialize in helping couples plan destination weddings in the Mexico Caribbean area. So that's Cancun, Riviera Maya, Tulum, Playa Mujeres, Playa del Carmen, all the best spots. I have visited and toured more destination wedding resorts than I could probably count. And today we're breaking down all the things I talk my couples through when we are choosing the perfect resort for them. So let's get into it. First things first, do the wedding venues at this resort actually speak to you? I do not recommend picking a resort solely on the idea of the wedding venue for a lot of reasons, but you need to feel good about the wedding venue options at this resort, whatever it might be. If you have your heart set on a toes in the sand beach wedding, I definitely want to send you to a spot that has a great beach. If you have your heart set on a rooftop, yes, rooftop view, then there are certain resorts that I'm scratching off the list automatically. So knowing the venue, knowing your priorities, knowing what you're looking for will really help set the tone. And from there, we can narrow down the list. This one might sound obvious, but some wedding couples haven't talked about it yet. Who is actually coming to the wedding? Are you inviting kids? Are you not inviting kids? How many guests do you expect to travel versus how many guests do you plan to invite? These are all really important things to know. Obviously, if you're planning an adults only, then I really love to focus on those properties. And if you're inviting kids, we need to know that too. However, if all of your kids are 16 and over, that gives us some different options where we can lean towards some teen adult friendly properties versus ones that have a lot of kids clubs. I know some people don't want to hear this, but size matters. If you know, you know. Resort size is hugely important when we're talking about a destination wedding. If you are bringing hundreds of people, then obviously we need to look for a resort that can accommodate a group of your size. Some resorts plan excellent weddings that are very small. Some do medium weddings really well, but few do large weddings very well. And so the size of your wedding and the size of the property is going to make a difference. If you want all the things for your guests, then we need to look at a big property. Big properties have more things to do. A smaller, more boutique property is definitely going to give you more of an intimate feel. Most of my wedding couples are going for a mid-sized property, 400 to 600 rooms. Believe it or not, that's mid-size. Smaller than that, a boutique property, 100 to 300 rooms, definitely could work. But those large properties, those huge ones, again, it might be harder to keep track of your wedding guests. However, they will have all the things to do. I like to talk about this one, although I don't put a ton of importance on it if I can avoid it, is how long of a transfer are you willing to do? If you have a lot of elderly folks or a lot of people traveling with newborns and small kids, a long transfer can be really frustrating after an airplane flight. And I get that. So I do include the transfer. However, I think an hour or an hour and a half transfer for the perfect resort for you is worth it. Again, I might be the odd one out there, but I'm not afraid of a transfer. I'm also not traveling with a newborn though. Most of your guests are going to land in the Cancun International Airport. My favorite resorts in Playa Mujeres are anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes north of that, and my favorite resorts south of Cancun Airport are anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes. I do have a favorite though that's a little bit over an hour. Okay, I have two favorites that are a little bit over an hour, but they might be worth it for you. This next question catches a lot of people off guard, and I think a lot of wedding couples just don't think or realize that they can ask this question. How many weddings does this resort do per day? Again, it's different. There are some resort properties that do an incredible job of making every wedding couple feel special, even though they're doing 4 or 5 weddings per day during peak season. It's possible. They have incredible wedding teams. They're very well coordinated and they happen really smoothly. There are less that do one wedding per day, and I find those to be some of my most favorites to work with. It is really special to be the one centerpiece of the wedding and events team for your day. Can they do 2 or 3? Sure, some mid-sized properties do 2 and 3 weddings per day really well, and that wouldn't necessarily defer me if it were the perfect property. But again, you need to know what you want and be willing to be comfortable with maybe something different. All I'm saying is ask the question if it's important to you. I like to ask the question, but again, I don't know that I would make my decision around it. The renovation history of a wedding property is critically important to the overall experience your guests will have. Your wedding guests do not want to stay at a resort that is in desperate need of a glow up. They would much rather you choose a resort that is kind of in its stride, that maybe had a renovation a few years ago, is still looking really good, and is pricing really well. So we want to kind of find that sweet spot. If there is a resort that you have your heart set on and it's in construction, that's hard. That's hard on your guests, it's hard on your wedding party, and it's hard to kind of have that romantic ambiance when you hear construction happening. So knowing the renovation schedule, of course we can't necessarily plan that far out as well, is important to know as best we can. Having a wedding budget is going to be critically important, especially while you're picking out your wedding resort, because not all packages are created equal. And knowing how much you're going to have to spend on your airplane tickets, on your stay, and then upgrades to your wedding package are all going to be a piece of the puzzle. So how far will your budget go when you're looking at actual wedding properties? We don't have to pick out specifics while we are just kind of window shopping resorts, but knowing how far your budget will go will be hugely important when you are picking out your actual resort. So here's my honest take on all of that. That's just kind of the bare minimum of what you should cover when you're talking about or thinking about what wedding resort might be perfect for you. You can spend weeks and weeks and weeks researching this all on your own, or you can hire a wedding specialist. And I know that that might be controversial, but hear me out. You pay for a mechanic, you pay for a hairstylist, you can pay for help picking out a wedding resort. There are people who literally specialize in it because I walk the properties. I know the wedding coordinators on site. I know the wedding packages. I know what's included and which preferred vendors are likely to show up. You don't have to spend all that time researching it and deciding what resort your guests might love if snorkeling is their top priority. Again, every travel agent and wedding specialist is going to run their business differently. I try to say this in as many of my videos as I can. Some are paid specialists and some are not. You pay more for certain hairstylists based on their skills and ability. The same can be true in the travel and wedding space. You pay for a specialist. There are lots of travel agents who would help you just with the group part, but if you want a specialist, someone who focuses on weddings and does mostly wedding contracts, wedding planning, working with couples all the way through from start to finish, that's worth paying for, and it's worth finding someone who specializes in exactly what you're looking for. If you are starting this process and you want to schedule a complimentary consultation, all of my information is linked down below. I also have linked below my free Cancun wedding planning guide. It is downloadable PDF that I deliver straight to your email inbox. It really helps you get started if you are thinking about booking a destination wedding in the Cancun, Riviera Maya, Mexican Caribbean side of Mexico. If this video has helped, make sure you hit subscribe. Put any comments or questions down in the comment section below. I will be sure to be watching those as well. And make sure you find my subreddits at Excellence Resorts and Riviera Maya Weddings. Those are my 2 subreddits. I'm answering questions in there for all of you wedding couples. I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you in the next one.